imagine a scenario in which RAI has to produce a report in commemoration of the Grande Torino tragedy, to be broadcasted on the evening sports newscast. The report will include an introductory section that gives an overview of what happened on May the 4th, 1949, in the plane crash known as the Superga air disaster. A 3D model of the Basilica of Superga will be used by the presenter to support the narrative flow. The report will also feature memories of the tragedy through the eyes of a virtual fan and an interview with the on-site reporter holoported in studio. How can we produce this content efficiently and quickly, minimizing the extra effort and costs? XReco is the key. Exploiting the potential offered by some of XReco's more advanced technologies in conjunction with third-party applications already in use in the RAI's workflows is the best way to achieve these goals. For instance, we built a synthetic human Unreal post-produced from a scan of a real human, but in the future will be possible to obtain the textured-based mesh from pictures. For this purpose, this video demonstrates the potential of using XReco technologies to optimize virtual production processes and achieve broadcast quality results.
Vai. XReco Demonstrator, track 1.
Good evening, everyone. Today, we turn our thoughts to a tragic chapter in Italian football history. Superga 1949, remembering a tragic event. I'm Davide Zappia, and now let's start this journey into the past to honor the Grande Torino. On May 4, 1949, an event shook the world of Italian football. The Grande Torino, a team that had dominated the Italian and European football history, lost their lives in a tragic plane crash at Superga. Today, we remember those lost lives and the impact this tragedy had on the Italian football history. But now, let's listen to the perspective of an enthusiastic fan.
Of May the 4th, 1949, and all the fans were eagerly awaiting the return of Grande Torino from Lisbon. In the city, the weather was overcast and cold, but the air was filled with excitement as the team was already mathematically confirmed as champions for the 5th consecutive year. I, like many others, was there, with my heart swelling with pride for our champions, for those football giants who had given us an unforgettable emotion. The Torino team was more than just a football team. It was the symbol of a city, of an entire community, an unbreakable bond that made us stronger, more united. But then, suddenly, everything changed. News began to spread among the crowd like an haunting whisper, then turned into desperate screams, into tears of despair. At 5:03 p.m., the plane, a Fiat G212, carrying the Grande Torino, our beloved team, had crashed into the hill of Superga, taking with it the lives of 31 people. That terrible roar, the ominous silence that followed, will remain etched in mind forever. As the black smoke rose in the sky, a fog of sorrow engulfed the city, and our collective heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. Since that day, the stadium, the legendary Philadelphia, has become a sacred place, a sanctuary where we honor the memory of the football giants who brought us glory and hope. Every time we step onto the stadium ground, every time we wear the maroon jersey, we do so in their memory and carrying forward the legendary spirit of teamwork, sacrifice, and passion.
Thanks to our superfan. Today, there is the celebration of that tragedy, but listen now how our correspondent from the Basilica of Superga. Leo, what does it feel like to be there?
The memory of that tragic day is still palpable in these hills. I've met some locals who lived through that day. The community here keeps the memory of the Grande Torino alive with annual events and moments of reflection. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Leo. And thank you all for joining us in this tribute to the Grande Torino. Their legacy lives on in our hearts and in the hearts of the fan in the history of Italian football. In this moment of reflection, we ask everyone to honor the memory of the Grande Torino. We conclude our brief here. Thank you for being with us. We invite you to share your memories and your stories with the hashtag Remembering Grande Torino. Until the next episode of Memories of Nation.
The repository connector is designed to consume professional content stored in legacy repositories, such as the RAI's archive. The workflow is started by a RAI internal user, like for example a journalist editor, who uploads some content and related metadata into the RAI Media Asset Management System. Then, the user requests the system to export some content from the internal repository to XReco. The system instantiates a process workflow that ends with the upload of the video file plus a JSON file, which contains the video metadata, from the RAI's private network to a shared staging area. Here, the media content and metadata are made available to the XReco users for search and retrieval and subsequent processing. Let's delve into the process of creating a 3D model of the Basilica of Superga using XReco. First, a content creator accesses the orchestrated dashboard and initiates a search for assets of the monument. After analyzing the results, they discover stunning drone footage of the monument provided by RAI. To keep things organized, the user creates a content basket specifically for assets related to Basilica of Superga and adds the drone footage to it. Next, they fine-tune parameters for the Instant NGP service, NERF, provided by XReco. Once satisfied, the user invokes the NERF service using the RAI drone footage to train a neural network. After waiting, the content creator downloads the trained neural network model as the end result of the NERF process. Using an external tool, the user extracts the 3D model of Basilica of Superga from the NERF results. Afterwards, the user uploads the Superga 3D model to the XReco platform, associating it with a title, description, and a license. Now, the content creator wants to share this 3D model with the world by publishing it to the XR marketplace. To do so, they carefully consider the available licenses and select the Creative Commons CC BY license, allowing for commercial use. The user then previews the license terms. When the asset is registered on the marketplace, the license is also notarized onto the blockchain. In this case, we can see the transaction notarizing the chosen CC BY license for the Basilica of Superga. Now let's see how users can benefit from the XR marketplace. They access the XR marketplace, discover the newly published 3D model, and visualize the 3D model using the web-based player available on the marketplace. The user previews the license and, complying with the terms in the license agreement, adds the asset to their shopping cart for further use and reuse. The first step to obtain a multi-camera point cloud is to know the exact position and rotation of the cameras in the world coordinates. For this reason, we have created a multi-camera calibration software, where the only thing needed is to define an absolute zero position, as well as a reference plane. For the plane, we used an A4 paper sheet, placed 1 meter above ground, and the origin was marked with a coin at floor level. For each camera, we select the plane and the origin in the same order and obtain a transformation matrix that will be placed in the project for the Unreal Engine 5 plugin to read and apply them to each camera view. Once the calibration is done, we will copy the generated file, named cameraconfig.xml, into the Unreal project. We open the Unreal project, in this case demo, and paste the XML file into the plugin's binaries. After dragging the point cloud renderer actor to the scene, everything is already set up, and we only must change parameters that suit our needs. Adding the Niagara system to the plugin and selecting the number of cameras will be sufficient to see the results. Finally, other parameters such as position, rotation, point size, or lighting can be set for better performance. Save the level and take a look at the results. Our multi-camera reconstruction system combines all point clouds from the different cameras into one single coherent point cloud. This is done using point cloud registration algorithm ICP, iterative closest point, to obtain camera positions and applying transformations to the different point clouds, resulting in full body reconstruction. These transformations and the rendering process is done using high-performance computing, taking advantage of GPU hardware to make real-time experiences and communications possible. A full human body is reconstructed, compressed and broadcasted to all members with no apparent latency.